What in tarnation is going on here? So around this time last year, the channel had, I think, a little over 300 subscribers. And at the start of this year, I had about 2,400. And now we're celebrating 25,000? Hello, everyone. There's a few more people here than there were very recently. To everyone that has supported the channel, not just recently, but since I started doing it, I cannot thank you all enough. This has been absolutely amazing. I am loving doing it, and I love doing it more every time I sit down to record a video, and I'm so immensely proud of what we're doing here. This community is wonderful, and I can't thank you all enough. So I had initially planned to do a Q&A video for 10,000 subscribers, but for reasons that I will explain in a second, I was a little preoccupied at that time. So I didn't end up doing it. So now I figured we can catch up with that, but I also have a couple channel announcements that I want to make. So we're going to go over a couple things first, and then we're going to do the Q&A. I have 3 announcements to make. One, you know, they're all cool. One of them's cool. Then the other one is really cool. And then the third one is actually pretty massive. So first off, I've had a couple people who have asked about a PO box just to like send things over, and I'm just letting you know I'm looking into it. I am planning on getting a PO box set up, so I'll keep you all updated on when that's actually been finalized. The second announcement is something that I'm very excited about that I hadn't initially planned on doing, and I also hadn't planned on doing a PO box, but once people start asking about things, then you start considering it a little more. I've had some people ask about merch, which wasn't something that I had considered until people started asking about it, but to anyone that has asked about it or is curious about merch for the channel, I am in touch with an artist right now about getting some designs done up, so that is in the works, and I'm very excited to do that. The guy is a fantastic artist, and I can't wait to share more details about that once I have a little more information on it. So those are the 2 smaller announcements. I guess they're not small, they're still very exciting. The really big one is, so back in March, you may have noticed that I started ramping things up on the channel a fair bit. I launched the Patreon, I launched YouTube memberships, and I was also starting to upload more frequently around that time. That was for a couple reasons. One, you know, obviously because the channel was just starting to do well, and I wanted to, you know, push as much as I could. The other reason was that I was informed around that time, on March 18th, that I was being let go from the job that I had been working at. So that was fun. They were very courteous with me and gave me 2 months to basically find my footing before officially letting me go. So I took that as an opportunity to dive into the channel even more than I already had been and see what I could do with it. And it was also around that time that I started to either match or exceed the income from that job through these videos. So I started thinking, maybe this is something that can become viable for me. It was kind of interesting because the week that I was told that I was being let go was the same week that I hit 10,000 subscribers. And then as I was pulling into the driveway on the way home from my last shift, like as I was in the driveway, I hit 20,000, which, you know, very serendipitous to me. And I actually hit 25,000 a couple minutes after watching Halloween Kills yesterday, or I suppose by the time you're seeing this, 2 days ago. And that was interesting too, because Halloween Kills was the reason I made this channel. So there's been a lot of like serendipity around this whole thing. But essentially the big announcement is that I am taking Rocklin Graves full time. I've been full time with this channel for a little over 2 weeks now. Since May 18th was the last day I had at my other job. So that was a big part of the reason that, you know, I didn't initially make that 10K subscriber video, because I just had so much going on at the time with being let go from the job and also having some other things, you know, personally, just relationship stuff. You know, it's all fun, right? I was a little distracted, so I didn't end up making that video, but I'm glad to finally be talking about it. I'm glad I waited too, because now I've got, you know, more questions to go through. So that's the big announcement, is that I am a full-time on this channel now, which is extremely exciting, and it's also kind of terrifying. So to everyone who has supported me and, you know, been giving me so much encouragement and almost like comforting me through this very nerve-wracking transition. I cannot express how much I appreciate it. And of course, to the people supporting my Patreon and YouTube memberships who already know that I'm full-time. I made that announcement on there, I think, probably a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. So they've known for a little while, but to all of you, seriously, thank you so much. That has been such a huge help. This thing has been, as I said, exciting, but also horrifying. So we're gonna see what I can make of it. So far at the moment, it is definitely viable and it's something that I can continue doing, and I'm excited because it means a number of things. It means that I can be committing more time to improving the quality of my videos. It means I can commit more time to being more present on the channel with that, you know, doing more live streams and hopefully creating more content and trying other things out. I'm always going to have those video essays. Those are not going anywhere, but there are also other ideas that I have that I want to try to work into the schedule somehow, which could be really fun. But it's also giving me time to work on projects outside of that where, you know, I'm hoping to shoot a short film this summer and I'm working on an album and a couple other fun projects that I'm working on that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet. I want to wait till they're a little more finalized, but it's just giving me more time to focus on this creative outlet, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful to all of you for putting me in a position where that's something that I can do. So seriously, thank you. All right, well, in terms of announcements, that's basically it, which, you know, it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to continuing to hopefully improve on this channel. All right. Now for the Q&A. So I'm going to go through some of the questions on that post that I made when I was planning on doing one for 10,000 subscribers, because there are some really good questions on that. But I also put up a community post the other day for the 25,000. So we're going to go through both posts. So let's start out with the 10,000 one. All right, starting off strong, Reggie Salas 4285, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, asks, what are your top 5 movies outside of horror? Ooh, and by the way, I'm not doing this with a script. I'm going to try to answer all this off the top of my head because I want to try and be candid with you guys in this video. Top 5 movies outside of horror. That is a great question. And I feel like there are some movies that like I'm inclined to mention where it's like, oh, Lord of the Rings or a Harry Potter thing. But it's like everyone knows about those movies. So I kind of want to mention ones that you might not know about, or at least aren't as common of an answer. All right, so the first one I'm going to pick is Leave No Trace, which is from filmmaker Deborah Granick, who also made Winter's Bone with Jennifer Lawrence, if you've seen that. But Leave No Trace is my favorite movie from her. So it stars Ben Foster and Thomasin McKenzie, who you may have seen in Last Night in Soho. It's just this really like grounded, beautiful, and subdued story about a father and his daughter who are living out in the woods. The dad is a veteran, and there's just this really beautiful exploration of the different needs that those two have. I don't want to get too much into it because it's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling it, since it is such a like subtle movie. It has the best silent interaction between two characters I think I've ever seen. One of my favorite endings in all of film. It's such a beautiful movie. It's absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend seeking it out. It's very much worth your time. And also the Intouchables, or Les Intouchables, which is from writer-director, oh, what's the name? It's not Olivier Nakache, I believe is how you pronounce it. I don't know. This is a French film. It's been one of my favorites for a really long time. I found it in junior high and I watched it like once a week for a period of time. Like I was just obsessed with this movie. I initially watched it because the score is by Ludovico Einaudi, who was like the reason I started playing music. I started learning piano when I was 10 or 11 because of his compositions, and then I found out that he did the music for this movie, and I was like, I gotta check this movie out. And then it blew me away. It is such a beautiful, like heartfelt story. It's based off a true story, actually, and there's a book you can read about it, which was written by the real life person of one of the main characters. It's about an aristocratic quadriplegic man who hires a fresh ex-con to be his carer, which is such a cool idea. But then the dynamic between Omar Sy and, oh god, what's the other guy's name? Francois Cluzet. Their dynamic is so good. There is an American remake of it with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart, which is not good. But this version is absolutely amazing. Again, similar to Leave No Trace, one of my favorite endings in any movie. Just really beautiful, sweet film that I can recommend to anyone. I'm long overdue for a rewatch on that movie. I've talked about this one a couple times, but Knives Out, Rian Johnson, easily one of my favorite movies. I will never forget the night I saw that with my best friend and I went to the theater in the, I don't remember if it was in the winter. I feel like I always mix up seeing Dr. Sleep with him and Knives Out, because one of them we had a really good night where we were walking around and it was snowy and there was no one on the highway, so we were walking in the middle of the highway with it gently snowing, and we could hear Christmas music playing in the distance. It was lovely. And I can't remember if that was for Dr. Sleep or Knives Out, but Knives Out is a movie that I absolutely adore. It's just like such a huge comfort movie. I love the setting. The cast is so perfect. I think it may be Daniel Craig's best performance, at least in a very long time. I would love to talk about Knives Out someday. And the second one I like too. I like Glass Onion. I'm very glad that they're doing a third one, but the first one is really the one that I've resonated with the most. I'll do The Northman by Robert Eggers. I mean, you could make the argument there are some horror adjacent elements in The Northman, but I wouldn't call it a horror movie. As I've said a ton of times, Eggers and Flanagan are my two favorite people working in film right now. And the Northman absolutely blew me away. I love period pieces. I love Vikings, and I love movies that like lean into the fantastical elements of these stories. And I felt like The Northman is such a good blend of this like gritty Viking revenge story with the like religious history of, you know, Norse mythology. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I love that movie. I'm trying to look at my collection just to like jog my memory a little bit, because there's a lot of movies over there and it's hard to pick. Abracadabra. I'm gonna pick Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the Jim Carrey one. I absolutely love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Jim Carrey is like if I need some just comfort, I just go to Jim Carrey movies and then I feel better. But like there's something so beautiful about that movie, and the soundtrack is amazing. I think it's the track called Phone Call. I remember hearing that for the first time and just tearing up immediately. Love that movie, of course. Highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't seen it already. It's, even if you don't like Jim Carrey's like really accentuated humor, that's not really a thing in this movie. It's more, you know, introspective. It's beautiful. And you should watch it. Well, thank you for your question. That was very good. I probably spent way too long on that, but I had to. Mr. Hootie Dean asks, what was the inspiration for starting this channel? Halloween 2018 came out and it blew me away, and then Kills. I was so immensely excited for Kills, and I just wanted to talk about it so bad. So I made a channel where I could do that. So that's what made me want to start it. It was basically that I just wanted to talk about horror more than people around me wanted to hear about horror, and this is a really good way to get that out. Jonathan36457 asks, what type of horror do you find the most frightening after watching? For me, it's movies like The Strangers, which feel like they could actually happen to me, whereas I find movies like The Conjuring are still good, but don't stay with me after the movie's over in that same way. Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, relatability definitely plays into it. Like The Strangers is scary because it feels like it could actually happen. But for me, the scariest movies to me are always the ones that are still very subtle and feel believable, but they kind of add this, like, just a little layer of the supernatural on top of it, which is why, to me, Lake Mungo is the scariest movie I've ever seen. I've never had anything come anywhere near scaring me the way that Lake Mungo did. That movie, it's very slow paced, it's very subtle, it's very slow burn. I am going to make a video about it. People are asking me all the time for a video on Lake Mungo, and it is going to happen. I want to really make sure that I'm, like, perfecting that script. Because that kind of movie is what really, really sticks with me. Those quiet, grounded, but just a little elevated. That's what really gets me. Captain Astro asks, who's your all-time favorite slasher? Love your channel. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate it. My all-time favorite slasher is Michael Myers. That's very easy. Halloween is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Michael, I've always just found like the ghostly boogeyman element of him to be so appealing. I absolutely love that. The way he's utilized in that first movie specifically, where he's just standing there and you see the white mask is so perfect because it catches the light perfectly and you just see this like ghostly figure standing in the shadow. It's amazing. Michael's my top one. Destroy a Boy 4726 asks, what's your favorite music genre? What songs would you recommend? Hope you're having a great day. I love your content, my bro. Well, thank you very much. I love your comment. I really appreciate it. Music. Yes. Music is a huge part of my everyday routine. With the streams I've been doing and whatnot, people keep commenting that there's like, my room is just filled up with instruments, which is definitely true. Favorite music genre. I don't know if I can pick a favorite genre, but let me give you a bit of a middle ground and list like 5 albums that are like really, really important to me. And this is the part where Evan will go on to list far more than 5 albums. I'm gonna try to not just list off Ben Howard's albums because that would be very easy for me to do. But I will have to pick one of his albums, and it's between Is It and Noonday Dream. Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough. It was easily Noonday Dream, and then when Is It came out last year, it got close. We'll do Is It and Noonday Dream, and we'll count that as one because this is my video and I can do that. Very easily, 2 of the most like beautiful and resonant albums for me. I connect with both of those on a very, very deep level. I have to pick an Oliver Arnold's album. It's tough because Living Room Songs and Remember and Some Kind of Peace and Island Songs are all so good. I'll probably go with Remember by Oliver Arnold's just because I feel like that sums up a lot of what I love about his music. Although Living Room Songs is a very close second because that was what really got me into his music after I heard the Broadchurch soundtrack. I used to listen to Living Room Songs in high school like every single day. Blue Notebooks by Max Richter. That's an easy one. That's my favorite album from Max Richter. He's one of my favorite composers. That album, like if it's a like gray rainy day and I sit by the window and put on Blue Notebooks, I am in such a good mood, and it makes me want to write stories so badly. Like there's a story I'm working on right now, and a lot of the tone of it is very much like in line with Blue Notebooks. He just announced that his new album that's coming out is sort of like a sibling piece to Blue Notebooks, and I'm so excited, even though I thought Songs from Before was already kind of a sibling piece to it. Whatever. I'm very, very excited. Let's go with This Empty Northern Hemisphere by Gregory Alan Isakov. I don't know. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I should know because he's one of my favorite musicians once again. That album, I used to, on Sundays, we would go out to my Nana's place all the time, and I would... so we would go out like in the afternoon and then we would drive back in the evening, and the drive was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I would always listen to This Empty Northern Hemisphere on the drive home because my cousin showed it to me at my Nana's house one day. And then it's such like a lush album. If you're ever out for a nighttime drive, it's such a perfect album for that setting. I feel like I have to pick an Einaudi album. It's either going to be in a time lapse or Elements. Although Underwater was really nice, but I'm gonna probably go with time lapse Elements. Does that clear that up? You know what? I set a rule for myself to pick 5 albums, and I've listed probably 78 albums, but that's fine. I don't know how I somehow forgot to mention any Bon Iver albums at all. That's absolutely insane of me because he's like top 3 artists for me. If I'm listing a Bon Iver album, I would have a very hard time picking between 22 A Million, I, and For Emma. I think they're all absolutely fantastic, but I mean, we're already way over 5, so I might as well just list 3 Bon Iver albums, right? Self-Titled's fantastic too, but 22 A Million, I, and For Emma are the ones I really connected with, and I connected with I more after finally seeing it live. That was when it fully clicked for me, because oh my god, Bon Iver live is transcendental. Anyway, back to it. So there's a couple of albums that I really love for you to get a taste of the kind of stuff that I'm into. Wait, fuck! Songs by Adrienne Lenker and Writings of Blues and Yellow by Billy Martin. God damn it, how did I forget those? Adrienne Lenker and her new album, by the way, what the hell is it called? It just came out. Is it called Sadness is a Gift? No. Bright Future. Sadness is a Gift was the single. Bright Future, the new Adrienne Lenker album, and Songs by Adrienne Lenker, and then Writings of Blues and Yellow by Billy Martin. This has gone so off the rails, I'm so sorry. Colleen Christie 8245 has a couple questions, but I kind of already touched on some of this. Do you enjoy reading horror novels? Absolutely. I read horror novels every night before I go to bed. I'm a huge reader. I absolutely loved it. And I wasn't for a very, very long time. For most of my life, I was not into reading. And then like 2 years ago, I was like, I was feeling that I needed to stop using my phone before going to bed as much, because it's not just blue light, but it's like, it's just overstimulation right before you're going to sleep, and then your head's spinning, and I already have trouble sleeping, so to give myself as many advantages as I possibly can, I decided I would start reading before bed. So I read all the Harry Potter books, and I was like, I gotta keep doing this. And I bought a shit ton of Stephen King novels, and I've been going through those. Reading The Stand right now, fantastic. I just bought like 4 other books. I'm gonna start Game of Thrones soon, very excited. But yeah, I absolutely love horror novels. Crass Child asks, what are some of your favorite video games, horror and non-horror? Any hidden gems you'd like to suggest? For hidden gem horror game, I'm gonna go with Black Rose. It's not very long, but it's so atmospheric and creepy. I love Black Rose so much. I don't think I have a ton of like hidden gem games that I can bring up, but I'm definitely huge into video games, so I can list off some of those. For like story-driven games, Life is Strange and The Last of Us, both Last of Us games, but really the first Life is Strange. Those are my favorite story-driven games. I've played Life is Strange so many times. I have like 120 hours in that game. I just keep replaying it. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. Last of Us, I'm actually replaying right now. I love that narrative. Joel and Ellie are 2 of my favorite video game characters. But I'd put Skyrim on that list as well. I played a ton of Skyrim, especially in junior high. I remember just rushing home every day and flicking on the Xbox 360 to play Skyrim. That was amazing. Some of my favorite memories. And then I'm just trying to think about other things that I should mention before I start talking about Souls-likes. Minecraft is an easy one. I've been playing that since it came out. I remember when I first started playing Minecraft, no one knew what it was. My mom actually was like concerned that it was a virus, so she was like Googling stuff about Minecraft. It was like $5 at the time, so I've been playing that for ages. But the big one, and this is where it gets tricky, because I always thought I wouldn't have one favorite game, and then I started playing FromSoft games, because I played Bloodborne just because I was attracted to the like Victorian, Lovecraftian art style of it. And then it blew me away, and I bought all of the Souls games and pre-ordered Elden Ring instantly, or whenever the pre-order went available. But yeah, those games I can't stop playing. I think I've played Elden Ring probably 10 to 12 times this year already, and I'm planning like 2 more playthroughs before the DLC, because I'm just getting a bunch of different characters set up for it. Bloodborne, I replay over and over again. I just replayed Dark Souls 1 and 3. Dark Souls 2 is fine. I don't hate it, but I don't get the urge to replay it very often. I'm thinking about restarting Sekiro right now, and Lies of P is amazing. I'm halfway through my 2nd playthrough, and I absolutely love it, even though it sapped me of all of the love in my body when I had to fight Laxasia. So those are some of my favorite games for sure. In terms of horror games, like Slender the Arrival, I have a huge soft spot for. It's just super nostalgic for me. It's very vibey. I love that game to bits. The Resident Evil games, 7 and 8, by the way, we're playing 7 on stream right now. We played some of it last week. We're playing more of it this week, so stop by. The Resident Evil 4 remake was amazing, and now I'm playing the original Resident Evil 4, which is also amazing. That game's so good. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. There's a lot of games I just mentioned. Deidre L9 asks, if you could turn one book into a film, which one would it be and who would you cast? So I have a bit of a boring answer for this, and I'm kind of stretching your question a little bit. In terms of casting, I don't know. I feel like I would need more time to think about that. But if I got to adapt one book into a visual medium, and I know it's boring because it's already been done twice, and they're still doing more of it, but I would want to adapt Stephen King's It. That is my favorite novel ever, at least that I've read so far, and I don't hate either of the adaptations, and I like things about them. I feel like they kind of missed the core of the story and why I really love it, which is, you know, the really beautiful portrayal of childhood innocence and holding on to your inner child as you age, and just a lot of like really beautiful thematic stuff like that in that book that I don't feel like was properly conveyed in the adaptations, which is the thing with a lot of King novels where, like, I love Christine, don't get me wrong, John Carpenter's Christine is fantastic, but like the book Christine is not about a haunted car. It's about obsession and isolation and loneliness and fulfillment, and it uses the haunted car thing as a way to explore that. There's a lot of that in King's stories, and it's absolutely in It. I find it interesting that like Pennywise was latched onto, because he's not really, like, he's very rarely the clown in the book. He manifests himself, or it manifests itself as whatever scares you the most. So the clown shows up a couple times, but it also is other things more often than it's the clown in the book. But that's not the point. It's the thematic thing. I would like to explore that in a 10 episode mini-series is what I would like to do. All right, let's move on to the other post for 25,000 subscribers. Money1137 asks, when's the Midsommar video coming, or Midsommar? Very soon. I hadn't seen the director's cut. I still hadn't seen it as of recording this video, actually, but I wanted to make sure I'd seen the director's cut before making that video, so I actually have the A24 special edition release of Midsommar coming in the mail like today or tomorrow. So I'll give the director's cut a watch. I'm planning a video for Midsommar this summer. Mark your calendars. That's as broad. I'm giving you like cable company ranges here. It's this summer. Can you be home then? So it is coming. Don't worry. Devin and Anuis? I'm so sorry. 6009 has a couple questions. What/who inspired you to start making YouTube videos? My biggest inspiration for my channel, and I'm sure I wear the inspiration on my sleeve, is Dr. Wolfula. I've been watching his videos for, God, 10 years plus at this point. He's been a huge, absolutely massive inspiration for me. I still think he's the best to do it. His videos were just this really great blend of insightful but also entertaining, and also like just really kind of reflected the spirit of horror and Halloween through the costume and the characters, and, you know, goulash on the side. There's this really cool like world in his videos that I enjoy so much. I think he's fantastic and still is making incredible content that just constantly gets better and better. It's amazing. He's been doing it for so long. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's inspired by him. But also Andy from Stitched Together Pictures, I would say, is a big inspiration for me. I really, really love his videos. He's another one where it's like the entertainment value and the insight go together hand in hand without compromising each other. I watched Andy's Shining video that he did somewhat recently. I've seen that like 5 times. That is one of the best videos I think he's made. It's so good. His Misery review was also fantastic. That was a lot more recent, but yeah. So I would say Dr. Wolfula and Stitched Together Pictures. He also asked, how long does it typically take to finish a video, and what does the process look like? I work basically on like a 2-week production cycle for videos. Where script writing tends to take me about 4 days, although now that I'm full-time, I'm trying to like condense this down a little bit. So I do 4,000 word scripts, usually anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 words. Sometimes it goes over that. And that can take me a couple days. And then, I'm shooting a video 2 weeks before it goes live, because I'm basically editing over the next week. And then my videos are made, available in early access on Patreon and YouTube memberships, I think it's 5 days before they go public, but the videos are always done a week in advance, which is nice. So if I were to estimate like how long it takes me to make a video, 8 hours maybe total, like of total sitting down pure work, probably 8 hours. And then he also asks, where did the channel name come from? Well, the Halloween display that you see in the intro of all of my videos, this one that's in every one, that was a Halloween display that my dad built by hand. So that's all styrofoam that was carved up and painted, and then we get fog machines going and lighting, and there's systems to let us have thunder crashes and mixed with, you know, lightning effects, and you know, we were always expanding on it, but that display was called Rocklin Graves, because of the street name that I grew up on. So when I was making a horror channel, I was like, oh, Rocklin Graves Productions, easy, there we go. Oh God, Algernon's Mouth 3066, Algernon's Mouth, I don't know, asks, what's your favorite horror TV show? That's easy. That's Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House. That and Lake Mungo are the 2 videos that I'm actually quite intimidated to make, because I just don't know how to do them justice. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what the best format for making a video about a series is, for me. And once I do that, then I'm making big big video essay on Haunting of Hill House because I think it's an absolute goddamn beautiful ghost story masterpiece. I love that show. He also asked, what's a horror movie that you wouldn't watch again because it was emotionally challenging rather than poorly done? Congratulations on 25,000 subs. Thank you very much. One that I wouldn't watch again, that because of how it was emotionally draining. I just watched The Coffee Table, which was one of those things where it was like, I can acknowledge that like it was a technically well-crafted movie. Like it succeeded in what it set out to do, but I didn't enjoy a second of that movie. And while I was watching it, I just fucking hated it. Like I was like, this sucks. I don't see the appeal to this. This is terrible. This is horrible. I feel gross. I feel bad. It felt like a traumatic experience watching that movie. So, and just like, I guess maybe because it's recent, but it's like, that's one where it's like, after the fact, I started thinking, I was like, okay, but clearly it worked. So it's well made, but I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. John Broussard 4115 asks, are you a Nightmare on Elm Street fan? Of course. There's a Freddy Krueger glove right there. Yeah. Of course I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. Have I actually shown this off before? This is a real, bona fide Part 4 Freddy glove. How cool is that, eh? Look at that. Ain't that something? Thing's awesome. I love it. You can sit right there. Terpenolafiend? Terpenolafiend? Terpenolafiend. Terpenolafiend. Is that a Sassy the Sasquatch profile picture? Oh my god. I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't watched The Big Les Show, get your shit together and watch that show. It's amazing. Ask, what's your favorite mockumentary horror movie? Lake Mungo. That's very easy. Blonde Bomber QO2UY asks, do you work in film? You have a lot of technical knowledge, but I know you could also just be an interested party. Oh, thank you. No, I don't currently. I would definitely love to get into the industry. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I love storytelling, and ultimately my goal is to be telling my own stories. I want to be making movies and writing books. Like that's what I'm really, really passionate about, is just telling stories, and that's why I enjoy doing this, because I get to talk about the mechanics of stories and the inner workings of them, and I thoroughly enjoy that. But no, I don't currently. I'm hoping to. The Beard, he's been here for a while. Thanks for the support. Asks, what is the purpose of horror as a genre to you? Is it to feel the thrill of flight or fight without the risk of harm, or as a means to feel empathy, or something else? It depends on the subgenre. I think horror is far too broad of a term, because like when you say action movie, you kind of know what to expect out of an action movie. There can be different settings for an action movie, but you have an idea of what you're getting into. When you say horror, there's such different meanings to that. Like Friday the 13th is horror, and The Lighthouse is horror, and they couldn't be more different. So I think that you kind of have to break it down by subgenre. But for me, what I find really effective about horror as a genre, and the thing that really draws me to it, is how it allows fear to be manifested as something more tangible for a story to use as a means to explore things that can be very hard to grasp emotionally, if that makes sense. The horror stories that I really connect with use horror as a means to explore something, and that's what I find really fascinating. Chloe McLaughlin 7357 also asks about Mike Flanagan. What is your favorite Mike Flanagan show? It's Haunting of Hill House. Favorite Mike Flanagan film? Ooh, probably Gerald's Game. I really love that movie. I think that's one of the best King adaptations I've ever seen, because it understood that the core of the story wasn't about a woman being chained to a bed. It's not as simple as that, and Flanagan understood that, which is, yeah, you mentioned being excited for The Exorcist. It's the same reason I'm very excited for The Exorcist, because The Exorcist isn't about a possession. It's about faith and love and fear of the unknown and struggles of faith, and so many beautiful themes, and it uses the possession as a way to explore that, so I'm excited. Flanagan's going to understand that. Terodo Bruxo? Sorry, asks, what do you think of American Horror Story? I've tried to get into American Horror Story so many times, and maybe I just need to like force myself to watch through the first season, or maybe just try a different series since it is anthological. I can't get into it. I've tried. There's something, I think it's the way the show's paced, where it feels so unnaturally frantic, even in moments where it shouldn't, where Like, there's no shot in that show that goes on for longer than 2 seconds. And then the angles are all these weird, canted, jittery, jumping around things, and everything is just go, 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 go. No scene has any chance to breathe. At least, and these are all criticisms for just the first season. I don't know what the other ones are like, but I've really struggled to get into American Horror Story, and maybe I need to give it more of a shot. Jace911 asks, can you tell us a little more about yourself? Background, other hobbies, are you married, etc.? And what are 3 things you wouldn't want to live without? No, I'm definitely not married. People are always surprised when I say this. I'm only 22. Like, I'm a young lad. I still have, hopefully, lots of life ahead of me. In terms of background, I haven't done anything after high school. Like, I went straight from high school to, like, working full-time, and I've been doing that until 2 months ago when I was let go from that job. So now it's just this, and music is a huge part of my life. I'm a huge musician. Been playing piano for probably 11 years now. I've been playing guitar for about almost 6 years. I absolutely love it. I'm constantly practicing or working on music, writing, recording music, whatever it is. It's a huge passion of mine. I wouldn't want to live without my instruments. I wouldn't want to live without my family. My family is very near and dear to me, very important. And I wouldn't want to live without tea. I need tea. I desperately need tea. I'm an Irishman as well as being Canadian. My dad was from Belfast. So I'm actually Irish. Everyone fucking says they're Irish, but it's one of those things where it's like, whenever I tell people that, I have to be like, no, but I actually am, though, don't worry. Like, I'm an Irish citizen by birth. It's okay. We're good. So, cup of tea. I need tea. Desperately. Oh, Terodo Bruxo has another question. How come you travel so much? Privileged from birth? Okay. I don't travel that much. I don't know what prompted that. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I mean, I've traveled a couple of times in my life. But no, I mean, I definitely wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth or anything like that. I'm not from like a rich family or anything. I would certainly like to travel more. I got to go to Ireland last summer, which was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, no, I don't travel very often. Captain Tot says, "Your mini Shane Gillis looking ass." That's all I came here for. Okay, cool, thanks. Oh, God. I know who that is. Swear bro looks like the son of Shane Gillis and Aaron Dessner. Come on, man. That's not cool. Clockwork66 says, Shane Gillis? What the fuck is going on? Whitebread says, you look like skinny Shane Gillis, lol. No offense. Damian Rubio 6782 says, anyone ever tell you look like Shane Gillis? No, never. Eggman5436 says, you look like a different edition of Shane... Okay, alright. Well, I think I'm probably gonna call it there. I've been sitting here for a while. Shit's getting crazy. I don't know what's going on. I only learned recently that apparently I look a lot like Shane Gillis. Okay, well that was fun. I enjoyed that, and I hope that you all did as well. And if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. There were a lot of questions, and if I went through every one of them, I would be here for way too long. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know, because I would definitely be interested in doing this kind of thing more often. This coming Wednesday, I'll be doing more Resident Evil 7 live on stream, so make sure you tune in for that. And next week, I've got a review for X coming out. I'm very excited. I'm going to be covering X and Pearl before Maxine comes out, and then we've got Quiet Place Part 2 before Quiet Place Day 1 comes out. We got lots of stuff coming up. And of course, that Midsommar video, like Mungo, Hill House, it's all coming eventually. Just needs to take time, let it cook. So yeah, thank you all so much for the support. This is, it's been a mind-boggling couple months. My head is spinning. I keep waking up shocked that I'm actually getting to do this, especially now that I've taken it full time, and I'm deeply appreciative of every single one of you. So thank you so much. This would not be possible without you and your support, and the kind words that I'm seeing in the comments all the day, every day, give me just so much fire to work with, and I really appreciate it. I'm excited for what's to come, and I'm glad that I get to share it with such wonderful people. So yeah, thank you all for stopping by Rocklin Graves. Hope you're enjoying your stay.